Alrighty, hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Sorry, it's a little early in the morning for this one. I was gonna start at about an hour or so ago, but I kind of got caught up in a documentary on YouTube that I was watching on the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I'm quite happy I took the time to watch it. It was very, very well done. And actually, I learned some stuff that I didn't know. I'm not an expert on the subject, but, you know, I do know a bit about it, so... So it was nice to learn something new. I was gonna say I watched. Just double check and see who it was. I think it was Maritime Horrors is the YouTube channel. If you want to give that a check, if you're interested in maritime-related content or anything to that effect. So, maritime disasters are always something that have intrigued me. And I will say on that matter, particularly not the Titanic. The Titanic was always interesting to watch, but I think it gets too much attention. So it just wasn't really particularly appealing after a certain amount of time, just because everyone talks about that. So it's nothing. Enjoy watching anymore. But I hope you are well. Hope everyone is doing great on this early Sunday morning. Oh, the clocks actually go back in a little bit. We'll be streaming when the clocks go back. I just realized that. Yeah, about I think 3 a.m. So yeah, we'll be heading into daylight savings. So actually, this stream you'll get to experience it again. This will be actually interesting. So maybe my internet will crash per usual. Anyways, so we're back here in Kaldvann. I felt like doing something tonight. I'm just in a bit of a mood and kind of need to pull myself out of it. A little bit of a funk. I learned some stuff the other day that it just kind of got me in a mood about my past, my ex and whatnot. Just pissed me off. Confirmed things I was thinking, but doesn't change anything about, well, anything for that matter. So, just gotta keep trucking forward, but just trying to pull myself out of a funk. I haven't touched a Kaldvann in a little bit, so nothing's really changed, nothing's really different. The airport's still the same, it's still the good old Trondheim International Lufthaven. It could work up here a little bit today. I don't exactly know what we're going to do. For all I know, we could start skinning some highway signs for the interstate. We could start building this town over here, which I've still yet to name. I could end up picking a name for it tonight, who knows. But, you know, I could start building this little community. That would be something nice to do. And I do emphasize little community. I don't really want anything huge here. You know, I kind of want this to be the quote-unquote business district of the town. A couple of buildings maybe no taller than 2 to 3 stories. Excuse me. Yeah, I think we'll start working on this town. I think that's something that I could do very, very happily. So, sounds like me when I'm trying to, and I mean no disrespect to this music, but it sounds like me when I'm trying to eat something that's really, really hot. It's like the first thing that popped in my head when I heard that. So, Hoyland, that's Highland, I believe. I'm trying to find a name for this town on the map. think this would be called Hammerin. This would be the name of the town. But first steps first, getting some buildings put through here. I particularly use a similar style buildings. These, I believe it's BS or DS buildings. I forget exactly what's nice building. It's a post office. Oh, don't mind if I do. I think I'll put it kind of right up against the river. So this is kind of the idea that I wanted, or the kind of the look that I want. These kind of 2 to 3 story buildings, kind of brick in stature, or brick in nature, to be situated along here. Turn down the draw distance just so I can do something. Actually, they're DS buildings. I think it's DS, so let me type that in. Yep, there they are. So particularly use these DS buildings to kind of create the storefronts for most of my communities. If not all my communities. Particularly, you would see a lot of these buildings over in Marienburg. Hold on. Hey Toby, could you do me a favor? Yeah, you the cat, yeah. Could you keep your fur out of my mouse? I understand it's a mouse, but you could just do that for me, please. Lovely. Thanks. You know, you're a real good guy. Just had to kind of throw that in there. No, I'm not trying to butter you up. Feel how you feel. Anyways. A lard. Well, that's just offensive to people of size. Offensive to some people that formerly used to be in the trans community. But yeah, so like I said, been struggling last 24 hours, so just trying to distract myself, do some work, and just kind of do things that I enjoy, that I know I enjoy. And as tedious as building the Kaldvann can be, it is something that is a bit therapeutical to me. It's you know, as much as I want to see it get done, there are no deadlines for it. There's nothing that really is pressing for me to do. I should most certainly be working on the Carabasset, and I think in the next week or so I'm gonna swing back into that full force and go back to Skowhegan. Do a couple streams on that, because Sean's been doing a lot of work lately with the roster, so in fairness, while I have the route, I should be doing something with it. So I'll get back to going on that, because I think I spent enough time on the Kaldvann. It's you know, a passion project, yes, but I do need to be getting something done with the Carabasset. Just in the sheer idea that it's never going to get done if I keep doing this. As much as I love doing this, working on the Kaldvann. If I keep doing this, yeah, we're never gonna see the completion of the Carabasset. Not that we were anywhere close, but yeah. I think I'd like to see this building right up against here. Question mark. We can have it kind of situated here a little bit. Get a little bit back off the path. Be a couple of birches out front. Who knows? Be a birch or two out front. They could be here. My stomach just did a noise. That's great. A little area with trees and some parks back there. Oh, it's Tim Price. Oh, I love you too. Oh my Jesus. I was, I just wasn't thinking of you, but now I am. That is just, my whole day is made. I can't even be sad anymore. Little piece of St. Louis came to haunt me. Oh, I love it. Tim, get your butt to Maine, you dork. We gotta go foam. They just put in new railroad crossings at the train station. Oh, and we got a new rail signal too. They put up a brand spanking new signal. Like there was no signal there before it, and they haven't even put it in service. The heads are still turned. Like, dude, it's pretty cool. We gotta go foam it. So take your BNSF locomotive and chugga it out here. Like that is something I'm actually quite disappointed with. Is that like I never actually got to come foam any of your trains. And that in itself is truly like upsetting. Like I am truly blown away, and it just deeply upsets me at this point. So, ouch. You got your pilot's license. Come fly to my FBO in Portland, and we'll charge you all the ramp fee, but you should still come say hello. Kind of respectful of you to come to your friend. Oh yeah, bud, we gotta foam. Yeah, there's quite a delay on this thing tonight. Maybe it's the time change. Actually, I should probably have like the town hall across from the church. Oh yeah, no, foam just everywhere. Like so much foam, they gotta. Oh, it's called the railway. But yeah, so much foam just that they can't even operate the trains because it's just foamed. It's all the foam. Yeah, ramp fees, dude. We got ramp fees. Like I think to park overnight, it's $20 a night for single-engine aircraft. I know for hangar we are charging a bonanza $188.86 a night to be in the hangar. Unless you're a base customer. Base customers obviously get different treatment because they're, well, base customers. But actually, like a Gulfstream the other night, or was it a Gulfstream? What did we put in the hangar? I can't remember what we put in the hangar, but it was like a $1,600 a night fee. I want to say it was like a Challenger or something like that. I can't really remember what the heck it was exactly, but it was not cheap. It's not cheap to store your plane at an airport. Like, it's rather expensive. Like, it do be ridiculous. But like, if I fly there, you know, I mean, if you stop in with like your single engine aircraft normally, like, I don't think we normally charge people just to, you know, come in for the day and stuff like that. But usually it's when when they're parked overnight. You know, we try to be courteous and stuff like that. It's usually when like people start asking for things. Is kind of when it all changes. I don't exactly know how the billing works on that end. Oh, he just sent me a text message instead. It's so great. He's off to play the games. I appreciate it, you know. That is one thing I do miss, is being out in St. Louis, and you know, there are certain things about it all that I regret, and you know, kind of how things ended, and you know, I wasn't taking care of me, and you know, I was a real shitbag in some cases, and anyways. Anyways, had to text good old Timmy there. But I was actually talking about with Tim the other day, an old co-worker of ours back in St. Louis, John Bozzi. There was this guy, and of course, I doubt Tim will, but if he watches the replay, do feel free to correct me if I get any of this wrong. But there was a guy we used to work with. His name, as stated, was John Bozzi, and he was all right. I mean, I wouldn't say like I loved the guy. You know, I thought he was all right. You know, he was cool. I mean, he was good at what he did, and whatever. He was there for such a short amount of time though, so like you never really got to really form like an opinion. You know, it never really got to form much of an opinion on him. So John, I believe, if I'm recalling correctly, was a merchant marine. I don't remember how many years he did that, but he was a merchant marine, and he ended up going to work for FedEx out in Arizona, I believe in a distribution warehouse. I don't believe he was ramped for FedEx in any capacity, but then he came to work for Southwest in St. Louis. Why, I don't know. I don't remember all the logistics of it. But you know, he came to work for us in St. Louis, and so he got hired on with Tim when Tim got hired on to Southwest, and you know, they both started at the same time. John, it quickly became apparent, had a lot of anger issues. Now, I definitely wasn't known for having the most level head. I've definitely had my fair share of meltdowns at work, particularly in my heated moments. But you know, to put it into context, there was also another guy that we got hired, or that was hired. I think a little before Tim or a little after Tim. I can't remember which way it was. I think it was before. His name was Jordan Hurd. Jordan is a cool fucking dude. Like, that dude was awesome. Still is. I haven't talked to him in forever on a Sunday. But that dude was pretty fucking wicked. And I mean, I loved working with him. Jordan was always a blast to have on the gate. Jordan was a little angry. All right, Jordan definitely had his moments where either he was just really calm and collected, or he was off the walls. And it's like, whoa, 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 dude. Before we go stabbing people, like, can we load the bags? But Jordan all around was a really cool dude. Like, he definitely had his moments where it's like, wow, he's off the hinges. But I mean, I definitely have had my moments where I'm flying off the hinges too. It happens. Jordan was in the Navy and stuff like that. Cool dude. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. He's just a really cool dude. I hated to see him go. It sucked, but there's just greener pastures elsewhere. Maybe you always gotta do what's best for you in life and stuff like that. It sucked to see him go because like all the people that I enjoyed working with weren't gone by the time I left, but they just they weren't around much more, or they'd gone to the day side, so I was stuck with all the new hires. But anyways, John Bozzi. So John, I believe, was on medication for his anger. He was taking some pills for that and stuff like and whatever, but he stopped taking them. He just stopped taking them, and holy shit, like everything just was hostile. Like, this man went from a pretty respectable dude, pretty decent guy, pretty easy to work with, pretty easy to get along with, no big issues, to just everything's an inconvenience. He is going to slit your throat open at not even a moment's notice, and he will drink your blood as he like stabs you repeatedly with a spork from KFC. Why is the textures warped on this? But anyways, John just it was just like a fucking flip switch to just holy hell. Like, it was insane. But I remember there were two big things that happened between John and I, because John and I used to get along very well. We worked together very well, but when he stopped taking his meds, we just had a clash, because we were on the gate. I think I was gate lead, or I'm sorry, we called it load in St. Louis, because the word lead assigns too much power to the position, and is a problem. So it was load, the load agent, but it's called gate lead company-wide. They didn't know what I was talking about at first when I went to Manchester. But load, or gate leads, just for the universal use of the statement. I'm not in charge of the gate. I have a ramp supervisor for that. But I'm in charge of loading the aircraft and stuff along those lines, and just documenting where the bags have gone, how many I've loaded into each bin and stuff like that, freight, verifying the aircraft's put together before departure, there's no discrepancies, I push the aircraft out, and so on and so forth. I'm just responsible for some I guess more important things on the gate, and so was all the other leads. Anyone could be a lead. Most people didn't want to because they just didn't want to be responsible for the CVLS, or they didn't like marshalling, or they didn't like pushing, or just something. Like, it was there were like hundreds and hundreds of reasons why people didn't want to be or lead or whatever on the gate. So I generally would trade with someone and then be lead. But anyways, on this particular day, John and I were on 24, and he was just in a fucking crabby mood. Like, he was just really in a shit mood. He was just, like I said, hostile at everything. Like, everything was a massive inconvenience to him. And he got snippy with me, and I was not gonna take it. He got very snippy with me, and, I had had enough. I told him if he didn't like how I was loading the aircraft, then he could do it himself, and he didn't like that statement, so, we kind of clashed a little bit, and I just told him to get off my gate. I told him just to get off the gate and go somewhere else. I wasn't going to sit here and be screamed at all day. I was trying to help him and such, and he didn't want the help. He didn't like how I was doing things, and, like, every day I gave him some tips and advice from someone who'd been in the company longer, who had been doing this longer, just to kind of help him in his training. Questions he had asked me plenty of questions, and I was happy to answer them. Always happy to answer them. I loved answering the questions. I had a lot of knowledge to share. I had a lot of great conversations with John. It was actually really nice, because the easiest way to make your job easy on you and to have a great day while you're at work is to, make good relations with your coworkers. Like, yeah, there might be people that I don't particularly like. Like, there are people that I don't like that I worked with at Delta. There's people that I don't actually like at my new job. Well, actually, there's a person that I don't like at my new job. But, you know, I ain't gonna name any names. Uh, you know, like I said, there were plenty of people I didn't like at Delta. But when you go into work, you just sometimes have to get over it and just put up with them. Other times it might be a little more tough, just, you know, in some instances. But for the most part, you try to you try to tough through it. Is what I'm trying to say here. Holy hell. But anyways, so I just, you know, trying to give John advice on, because he was just really struggling with things, and he just didn't want to take it, and then, you know, he didn't like how I was loading the aircraft, and it was really that. And it drove a wedge between us really quickly, because he just, from that point, when I just told him to get off the gate, he had just said, oh, fuck you, I'm done with you. And he never really apologized. I reached out to him, and, you know, I kind of said, hey, you know, I'm sorry for blowing up at you. He's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, hey, man, like, I'm not trying to have a beef with you. You know, I understand maybe it wasn't cool that, you know, I tried to give you advice. Maybe you didn't want it, maybe you didn't need it in the situation. But, like, you know, I don't really appreciate being yelled at, and you really should really think twice before you come at people like that, especially your coworkers. Like, we're here to help. We're here to make each other's day easy. We're here to do a job, and then we go home. So if you're sitting here screaming at me, you're not making anyone's day easy. If anything, you're making everyone's day very, very, very difficult. So think about that next time when you just decide to, you know, really say something brutal. Like, really think about, you know, what you're going to say before you say it. Because when you piss off everyone here, they're going to throw you to the wolves. And I walked away. You know, and I didn't really have anything terribly important to say from him after that. He didn't work on my gate, and he went out and, you know, and just didn't make a lot of friends. But the big event was the day he quit. Now, the ramp area, particularly at a hub as well, is a very, very, very dynamic place. There's people performing all sorts of different tasks and, you know, doing all sorts of different things. And when one part of that cog stops working, or when one part of that cog is not performing their job functions efficiently or in a timely manner, it can really screw up other parts of the operation, particularly bag running. Now, to kind of give you a little expression of a little description of bag running, it's actually quite simple. Bag runners are guys in those little gate tractors, little gate tugs, or the airport tugs. They have the baggage carts behind them, and they will go to a arriving aircraft. They will offload the bags into their carts, and it's fairly simple. Now, sometimes you might have both locals and transfers. Local bags are obviously bags that are staying in St. Louis and are going to go down to baggage carousel for people to collect and leave the airport. And transfer bags are bags transferring to another aircraft on another flight. Toward the end, they were trying to get a little better about dividing the bags, so one guy would run transfers, the other guy would run locals. There were many different ways of trying to do it, but that seemed the most efficient. So you would kind of sometimes have one guy who was running transfers. You're supposed to have a radio on you, but some guys didn't keep a radio close by, or they just didn't choose to have a radio at all, or they would have a radio, but it would be off in the tug. So the biggest part about loading an aircraft is obviously loading the bags onto the aircraft. So we get both transfer and local bags. Sometimes you have a lot of transfer bags, sometimes you have a lot of local bags, sometimes you have all transfers, sometimes you have all locals. All locals was really nice. All locals was like wonderful, because you didn't have to wait on fucking people to show up with different bags from other flights. And then not only that, wonder where they are and why can't I get a hold of them. So, local bags were awesome, because I didn't have to wait on a damn person, other than just me and the guy in T-Point. And I could generally go down to the T-Point, or where the bags would come down to, and I could grab them if need be and take them out to my flight when I was ready. So, local bags were awesome. It's transfer bags that sucked, because predominantly speaking, like I said, the the issues that I've listed before were incredibly common. Oh, got this building again. What the hell is this? Oh, I hate this building. Why? Why? What is this? What is this supposed to be a political ad for? What are, no, no, go away. I can't even. Why? It's just so weird. I don't even understand. I'm watching on the playback and, oh, it's so weird. It's so weird. Why? What is that? I don't understand. Anyways, before I have a conniption. But transfer bags were just the worst. Like I said, because people were predominantly not having their radios on, and there would always be guys that just, they were very inefficient. They didn't have any sort of sense about them. They didn't really have any concrete way of running the bags. There was just no real sense of urgency, and they just didn't plan well. I think I just said that all basically in twice in some way, shape, or form. But my point really stands that there was just no sense of urgency. They didn't plan, and they were very inefficient. It's like I would be at gate 8, and sometimes I'd be a little busy doing something else, or I would run to another gate to get bags. This was usually the last flight of the night. All our planes were usually waiting. There'd be some nights where all the flights are waiting on like this one plane that's a little late to land, so, and then they're gonna go to like Omaha or Des Moines or Little Rock. You know, the last flights of the night to these like smaller airports where people they're going home, so we would hold the planes for them. You know, last flight of the night. You know, for these connections. And when that plane lands, like, generally speaking, like, there was always big controversy. It's like, you know, okay, you know, the gate lead isn't technically allowed to leave the gate, or he shouldn't be leaving the gate to go to get these bags. It's not his job. Like, it's up to the bag runners to come do it. Generally speaking, I preferred going down to get the damn bags because it took the pressure off that ramp, the bag runner, to get those bags to your gate. It would speed up my process. It's like all I'm gonna do is just wait for that guy or that girl to show up. I'd be waiting for that person to show up with the bag. So it's like I'm just gonna go get them because there's like 10 other gates that are waiting on these bags. So everyone's a priority, but where do you start? So if we all just show up and get our bags, it's just easy, and that's what we do. So it was the middle of the day. I think it was probably about 3-4 o'clock. So it was pretty early on in our day, anyways. You know, for the evening shift. And we're waiting on these bags, and I think Jordan was the load. He was the lead on the gate. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because he was calling for the bag runner of this flight. He was looking for these bags. He was missing I think we were missing like 8 or 9 bags, which is a lot. You know, not the most that I've ever seen. Like I've had flights where I'm getting 30-something bags from one flight, and that's a bulk of my bags. And it always sucked when they were split between 2 people. But anyways, before I get on another tangent, so we're waiting on the 8 or 9 bags from this flight, and you know we're calling. No one's answering. Finally, someone says, "Hey, John Bozzi is running that flight, so keep your lookout for John Bozzi." You know, and so Jordan starts calling John. But John has a radio. John's radio is on. John is listening to his radio, and he's growing angrier and angrier and angrier by the second because people are calling him because they want their bags, or they're just trying to find their bags. Like, you know, if I called and I was like, "Hey, I'm on gate, 8, flight 1432, going to Chicago. I have 4 bags. Do you have them?" "Yeah, I got them." "Hey, do you need me to come get them from you? Or where are you at?" You generally ask, "Hey, where are you?" "Hey, I'm at gate 22. "Okay, I'm gonna come and get these bags from you." Or, "Okay, we'll be waiting. Just, get here when you can." Just something, just kind of like a way to locate the bags. So people are calling John. People are looking for their bags because John, I don't think he had any sort of setup. He didn't really plan his, he didn't really plan his bag run out too well. Is what I'm attempting to say here. That I'm struggling to say it. He didn't plan it out too well, so he's struggling. So John, we were at gate. I want to say we were at gate 12. Yeah, because we were right by the bag drop. So we were at gate 12. John was at gate 4. John had to drive past gate 12, go to gate 24 to drop some bags, and that was the order that he was going to do it in. I've seen that happen too much, where people run bags in an order that, they have it in their head. Okay, the next departing flight is at gate 24, so I'm going to go to gate 24. But they have bags, they're at, let's just say they're at gate 4. They're going to 24. They have bags for, 10, 16, and 22. But they're going to drive past all those gates to get to 24 and just keep, zigzagging. And eventually they're going to get back to, like, gate 12 or 14 or whatever, and that plane's going to be really close to departure, and they've been waiting for a while. He could have dropped those bags off, 9 times over, but he chose to drive by 9 times instead. So, whatever. So Jordan sees John coming down the ramp and flags him down. And Jordan's like, dude, I've been calling, Jordan, like I said, he had a little bit of a temper. John had a bigger temper. And those two just kind of went at it. I don't know what was said exactly, but I was standing there when it happened. I think the basic gist of the conversation was this: dude, I've been calling you over and over again, why aren't you answering your goddamn radio? Because I'm fucking doing my job, I'm fucking stressed out, I'm busy, I got your fucking bags, but you want them, you come get them. John drove off. And drove all the way down. Rumor said he drove past 24 to the very end of our terminal at gates. I think at that point it was only 33. I don't think we had a 34, 36, 38 yet. But he drove to gate 33, parked his tug in the West Boneyard? Yeah, he parked it in the West Boneyard and got out of his tug, walked right past Jordan Hurd, who had tracked him down on the gate tug, went in the office, slammed his badge down, and went home. Meanwhile, everyone's bags are in those carts, and the only person who knows that he just went home is Jordan. So now Jordan is trying to get on the radio. He doesn't, he's fuming. He's trying to get on the radio saying, Bozzy just quit, all these bags are here. So, needless to say, there was a couple of planes that went out late. There were quite a few planes that were missing bags because no one had an idea of what was going on, because communication it crumbled. It just crumbled. And that was the end of that. And it was so fucked up. Like, I get it. I've been stressed out a lot at that job. Like I said, I've definitely said a few things that probably pissed off a lot of people. I've definitely gotten some screaming matches with some people. But, like I said, it is imperative that at jobs like this, that you try to make more friends than you make enemies. Because, again, it's those people who are going to make your day a hell of a lot easier. So sometimes you just have to swallow your pride and, get over it. Sometimes you just have to swallow that pill and deal with the situation. It's not fun, it's not great. There were many a days where I certainly struggled to bite my tongue, but I did it because that's what we had to do. That's what we had to do to get things done. So, but that was one of the angriest people I have ever met. And I know a lot of angry people. I know some very angry people. But I was talking about all of that the other day at my new job. Because, we had a pilot that came by and he was just being a dickbag. I don't know exactly what happened. I was fueling a flight at that point, but he was just being a real cock. I mean, he was just being a fucking dick. And so, you know, my coworkers were kind of going on about it because it's the biggest thing of the day, and they were pretty put off by it, and rightfully so. Like I'd be, very put off by that, and I've been put off by many a pilots before. But point being, so I told him the story about John Bozzi, and just told him, how this dude was just so fucking angry, and I told him about the things he had done because. Like I said, Tim and I were texting the other day, and he had mentioned he'd brought up John Bozzi, and that's a name that I hadn't heard in such a long time. I hadn't thought of John in a really long time. Maybe I suppressed some memories of him. Maybe I just, I wouldn't to not put the guy down, but there wasn't really anything totally remarkable about the guy, and there wasn't anything really memorable about the dude other than his blowout. Like, that, unfortunately, is what he's remembered by, is his insane blowout. People that knew him for his very, very brief stint only recall him just freaking out and being angry, and it was sad because John was a cool dude. He was a nice guy. My fucking hips kill. What the shit? No, he was an alright dude. Like, it could have been he could have been a great dude to work with, but he just, didn't take care of himself in the way he should have, and, he got off his meds and, kind of shot himself in the foot. I mean, not literally, he didn't, actually shoot himself in the foot, but, figuratively speaking, he shot himself in the foot, with all of us. 'Cause we just, after that ramp incident, I mean, obviously it was over, but, even before that, just, he burnt his bridge very quickly, and, even Tim tried to have a talk with him, and Tim is the most level-headed, easygoing, carefree dude I have ever met. Tim is one of the nicest people I have had the pleasure of working with, and would gladly work with him again. I mean, Tim did become a close friend of mine, in my opinion. His brother was my roommate, which, I maybe didn't leave his brother on the best of terms. I definitely could have handled that situation a little better. I was a little immature there. Some friends of mine will say otherwise, that this, that, and the whatnot, but not to stew up a situation that doesn't need to be stirred up. But Tim tried talking to John, and John just was, no, John was not having it. There was nothing about that John was having, and it really sucked, and to see how it ended just really left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. But particularly at my new job, I haven't run into anyone yet like that. I hope I don't have to run into anyone like that. Make my day a hell of a lot easier if I don't have to be around someone like that, because you're always walking on eggshells. When you're around someone that hostile, it just, you're on eggshells. And it sucks. It really sucks. I don't like tiptoeing around people. I don't like doing a lot of things. I'll do it if I have to, but it adds a lot of unnecessary stress, especially in the workplace. Especially in the airline industry or the aviation industry, we already got a lot of shit that stresses us out. We have deadlines to meet, we have certain things we have to do, so to put that on top of it is just, it's not fun. Whatever makes my day less stressful is what we do. Whatever makes the day go by much easier is what we end up doing, because I wouldn't say I refuse, but I most certainly refuse to let stress at work consume me, like I used to at Southwest. That was partly just me being maybe a little too gung-ho, a little too big for my britches. And I definitely had a very gung-ho attitude. Or not gung-ho, but gung-ho is very, not the word I'm looking for exactly. I think I had a very, I wouldn't say matter of fact. I had a very, like, you know, do or die attitude. You know, this is our job, we need to do it. If you can't do it, then get the fuck out of my way. You know, and I don't know if that was correct of me. Maybe it wasn't. But, you know, I definitely had a very, very gung-ho attitude, or not gung-ho, I keep using that word. I had a very get the hell out of my way attitude about how I did my job. And if, you know, you were going to prevent me from getting the job done, then you needed to just remove yourself from my sights, or, you know, I would get very vocal about it. You know, I think maybe the gate lead position did go a little to my head. Because I've never really been in charge of anything. You know, never been in a position like that before. So it was a little different in such. I also like this building, but I don't like the big concrete wall. I think I wish this building had a back. But, you know, that was how I handled myself, and that's how I held myself in St. Louis. You know, I had this very kind of just, you know, attitude about it all. And that was that. You know, and if you didn't like it, then, hey, tough shit. You know, either you got along with me, you did your job, or I just didn't really associate with you too much. One second, I gotta check something. That's lovely. Anyways, but I'm also going to get up here in a minute and get some something to drink, so we can keep my throat dry. Oh, I think the clocks have gone back. Yep, clocks have gone back, so it's 1 a.m. over again, because Tim sent these messages at, I sent them at 1:34, and it's only 1:06. So yeah, it's back to 1 a.m. I thought it was at 3 we were doing that, so welcome back to 1 a.m. Happy time change. We're now an hour behind. So now the sun's going to go down really early. Great. Or well, according to the time, it will go down early, because I hate when people go, no, it's not going down earlier, it's just, the white man takes the clock and stuff like that. It's just really stupid. Yeah, no shit. Like, I think I bitched about this in the last stream, or a stream that I had not too long ago, that I understand how, the clocks work, and I understand how, I get how this all works. Like, I'm perfectly well aware of how daylight savings goes. Like, it's not a new concept to me. I know that the sun didn't just speed up an hour, and now it just sets earlier and rises earlier. We just moved the clock back an hour. But according to the time that is expressed on the clock, compared to what we were doing yesterday, the sun, by what we are doing, is going down earlier than it did the day before. Although this does mean that we're close to the shortest day of the year, so the sun will start coming, staying up longer, and the days eventually will get warm. Like, I actually can't believe we're this close to the shortest day of the year. But it bothers me when people try to mansplain that to me, and it's like, I know, I'm aware, like, I get it. Just another pet peeve of mine. Just a wee bit obnoxious is all. But at my new job, there's one thing that I've been kind of annoyed with. On the night schedule, or on the night side, we have specific tasks that we have to perform nightly when we're closing up for the day. It's just things that we have to do. We have a checklist, and we're supposed to initial the tasks that we've done. They are to be done nightly, and if we don't do them, then we get spoken to. It's also their way just to kind of keep an eye to just make sure that we're doing things. Like, it's very simple. You just do what's on the sheet, and then, you go home. It's very plain and simple. There's no question to what needs to be done. It's just, those are your nightly tasks. They are to be done nightly. It's just the nightly ritual. So, like I said, generally speaking, you do a task, you initial that you did the task, you get the credit for doing the task, so that way, like I said, people see what you're doing. Most nights, I like to do tie-downs, which is basically, I get in the van, I drive around the ramp, looking at aircraft that have flown in today, and jotting down, what aircraft is parked where. We have a little basic diagram representation of the ramp, just showing me, particular parking spots. I write down the registration of that aircraft. I then go inside after I'm all done looking at all the parking spots and the hangars. I then transcribe that all onto a new piece of paper, a new sheet. And then any aircraft that is new, so how it's done, like, say, alright, so, this square is this tie-down spot, this is another tie-down spot, tie-down spot, tie-down spot, tie-down spot, and then this is the other side. And generally the aircraft, like, the tail will be here, so the other tail, like, actually, I can show you, because I forget I have an airport. So, like, generally speaking, the tails of the aircraft will kind of be like... No, I can't just move that aircraft. That's right. I can't move this one. So they'll kind of be parked like this. So, this row will be like this, and then the center part of the aircraft will kind of be pointing between the wings of the other aircraft. So, I drive along and I go, okay, there's, we generally have planes that we call base customers. They're there all the time. We'll have an airplane parked here, 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 here and here. Well, tonight, there's an airplane here, here, and here. So, what I'll do is I'll drive around and go, okay, 8228 Whiskey's here, 413 Papa Mike is here. 681 Charlie Pop's here. I have a new aircraft here, 1232 or 21, and then I have another aircraft here, 426 Tango Whiskey, and then I'll have another aircraft here, whatever it happens to be, 8181 November. And then the aircraft that are new, I'll put in brackets. I'll go, I'll write its registration in brackets on the old paper that I'm using to transcribe the aircraft. And the ones that are there, I'll circle them, and the ones that are supposed to be there, if they're not there, I just cross it out. Just one single line, enough that I can still see the registration. If there's a new aircraft in its spot below that aircraft's, like, say, 8228 Whiskey is supposed to be here, but it's not. Instead, 12321's here. So just one line through it, 8228 Whiskey, and then in brackets below it, I'll write in 12321. Which it's getting sad because those are actually all aircraft that have stayed at the airport that are either base customers or are currently parked there on the ramp. So it's actually getting kind of sad that I'm remembering the end numbers off the top of my head. And then I'll drive over to the hangars. I'll see who's parked in the hangars for the night. Generally speaking, in the North Caracas and BIW hangar, it's all the same airplanes. Occasionally there's a new one, or like one might be gone for the night, it'll come back later on. The main hangar is generally where we pull aircraft in and out more frequently. So in that, it's the same concept. If an airplane's there, I circle it. If it's gone, I cross it out. If there's a new one, I give it a bracket. So then when I go inside, I look at the new piece of paper, the template. It's blank, and it has all the same parking spots as the other paper. I just have to transcribe what aircraft are where. I don't use brackets, I don't circle, I don't cross it out, because the next day I come in and use that as my sheet I use to verify the aircraft on the ramp. But point being is the aircraft that are in brackets, I have to then make parking tickets for. So I then grab some tickets. I'll write out the end number. I'll put in the arrival part of it. I'll put today's date or whatever date it is, and then for departure date, I just put TBD, to be determined, because you never know when they're going to depart. That's kind of the guy who trained me, Ken, his way of doing it, and I like that way, just because you might know that aircraft. The pilot said, "Hey, we're leaving tomorrow," but maybe something happens and he doesn't. You just leave it blank, or just write TBD and let the CSRs deal with it when they actually leave. Those are the customer service representatives, as they are called. So that's the task that I like doing. It's just it gets me out of the break room. It gets me just in a van. I can listen to some music. On Friday nights, I'll listen to Friday Night Steel while I'm doing it. I'll take a little time. I'll do it. Just kind of keeps me out of the office for a little while. So I'll do that. I'll come back. I'll check the gas level in the crew cars that we will let pilots use when they come to town for a few hours, just so they can maybe run into Portland and get something, or they have something they need to do. They can borrow one of our cars. If the gas is below half, I bring the car onto the ramp. I fuel it up, and then whatever. From there, I'll check the ice in the freezer, and I think that's usually about it. Oh, and lately I've been shutting off the lights when my boss Ricky leaves at night, because he's there a little later than normal. He's been there a little later than normal. So I'll go ahead and can the lights when he goes, and just verify the doors are all locked up, and go from there. I have 2 other people on my shift. The only other tasks after that are to do pass downs. So basically, in a big book, you just put what aircraft are leaving tomorrow. We have heads ups and just other piece of paper stating what aircraft are departing when for the next day, so we know when to have those aircraft either pulled out of tie downs or brought out of the hangar, or just make sure that we know when they're leaving, if we have that information. So we'll have that all ready to go. So pass downs need to be done. what else is there? Some pass downs need to be done. The jet fuel trucks that we use, because we have 2 jet fuel trucks that we have, as well as 2 avgas trucks. We only really use 1 avgas truck. The other one's older than probably Jesus at this point. But, sorry, Sean messaged me. What was I saying? Ah, shit, I forgot. Oh yeah, so, pass downs need to be done. The jet fuel trucks, we have 2 jet fuel trucks, we have 2 avgas trucks. They need to be filled and closed, so you'll go and fill the trucks. It's fairly simple. It's not a huge deal to do, but it's, it's fairly simple. Whoever does avgas needs to grab how much fuel, there's a gauge on the side of the storage tank. You just need to grab the level it's reading, which, funny enough, for a liquid measurement device, it is measuring the fuel in feet and inches, which is weird. Like, it's liquid. Wouldn't you want a measurement in a liquid unit like gallons? Like, that has confused me since day one. Like, why is that in feet and inches? But anyways, besides my confusion, so you grab the avgas numbers. You then go over to the self-serve pump and just grab the numbers off the self-serve pumps. The pump is there's just the dial just telling how much fuel the pump is pumped. You grab that, you come back inside, you jot it down, you turn in the paperwork. When you're closing out the trucks, you just take the last. You have the totalizer, so how much fuel the truck is pumped in total. You take the totalizer out, you put it on totalizer out at the very top of the sheet. You then write filled and closed on the next lines on the sheet. You sign your name, and then for the next day you just write, so the totalizer out becomes the totalizer in, because it'll be the next, it's where the pump is, so when the next fuel ticket's created, it'll read where the pump is at, and so that's the last known reading. It's always the same. I'm explaining that well. But so you write that down, and then you'll write the date, and then on the line for where we jot down information for the actual fuelings itself, we'll then go ahead and that'll be an alleyway then. We'll just write the totalizer in, and then we'll just write the next fuel ticket in sequential order. And we do that for all the trucks. Somebody might do the jet trucks, somebody might do the avgas trucks. Generally, I was taught that whoever does tie downs should grab the avgas numbers. It just makes more sense for the guy who's refueling the avgas trucks to grab the avgas numbers, so I kind of started the trend of doing that. When I'd go do avgas, I'd just grab the avgas numbers, because again, it made the most sense to me. It still makes the most sense to me to do it that way, but again, that's just entirely me. But then, on top of that, there's plugging in the Electro. It's a electric pushback cart. We also have a golf cart, but we don't really use it because it has a flat tire. To be replaced. Well, I don't think that's going to be done for a while. So yeah, the Electro needs to be plugged in, the golf cart needs to be plugged in, the ramp needs to be cleared and prepared for the next day, and the aircraft just need to be quad chalked and either triple chalked and quad coned and chalked. Just verify that's done, and that's kind of it. Then just little things here and there, and then just making sure all the doors are locked at 10 o'clock when the CSRs leave. And that's pretty much it. That kind of sounds like a lot. I didn't really explain that too terribly well, but it's really not. Like, it's all fairly simple. It's all really easy. So I actually think this will be kind of the businessy area, and then it's going to transition to like house and residential. So yeah, like I said, it's all really simple. It's really easy. There's nothing really insanely hard about it. You know, I picked up on it really quick. Other people seem to be doing okay with it. Like, it's not a huge concept. It's just a lot of repetition. I can pretty much do it all. The only thing I don't like doing is pass downs. They just kind of seem tedious, and you know, they're really picky about how they like it done. And there's other people on my shift that like doing pass downs, so I just, you know, I let them do that. They don't like doing tie downs, so I do tie downs. So it all works out well. But through this big, long, explaining process, whatever word I'm looking for, there's been a problem lately where, you know, particularly I go out and do the tie downs, and you know, I come back, the CSR is gone, the lights are still on in the terminal, or the FBO, and that is, you know, we have to shut them off, like I stated, and then from there we just, you know, the doors are already locked, I just verify they're locked, and I turn off the lights. So I go to sign my name for, because the turning off the lights and locking the doors are all under the same category. They're all under the same little area that you know, initial your name and stuff like that. And I'll find that one of my coworkers who has been sitting on his ass all day, who has not gone up to done. Wow, not gone up to done. He ain't gone up done any of these things over there. He has not gotten up to do any of these things yet, and as it has been shown the last few nights, he never did get up to go do those things. But he has already initialed his name in the areas that, a couple of the areas that I was going to initial for my work. And so I'm just kind of there like, wait a second. You initialed these, but these tasks weren't done. I just did them. Not all my tasks. Like, you know, tie downs, he doesn't initial because he doesn't like to do tie downs. He knows I like to do them. So obviously I'm going to go do that. But like turning off the lights, locking the doors. Now I didn't lock the doors, but I did verify them. My manager did, you know, he's the one that leaves, because we don't have enough CSRs to work that shift, so when he leaves, he closed the doors. He knows he did. But I'll just put that, you know, my name in the section that I shut off the lights. And he also knows that I at least also verified the doors. You know, either way, he wasn't going to put his name down, but in that, you know, the task was still done, and that, you know, I also just double checked to make sure that this was okay before I sat down for the evening, because there's nothing to do throughout the day. We should get our tasks done early. We do. And for the rest of the night, we pretty much just sit around and, you know, I watch a little bit of YouTube and do this. But it's been an increasing problem where, like I said, somebody else's name has been getting signed on the stuff that I've been doing. And I've been getting very frustrated by that. Particularly in the case of, you know, Matt, my buddy Matt. He just got hired. He used to work he used to work for Delta. Then he worked for Flight Safety Services, or fucking shit services, we call them at Southwest. He then went over to MacJets, our competitor across the airport from us, and now he's over here. He filled the jet trucks the other night, but didn't close them out because it was a little early, and, you know, we were going to wait. My other coworker said that he was going to close out the trucks, and, you know, he was going to close it, because closing and filling are two separate tasks, but they're kind of, you know, whoever fills it just kind of does it. But, you know, this other coworker said he would close the trucks, whatever. Matt ended up going home. I went home. This other coworker was on his phone for pretty much most of the night. And hey, whatever, you know. I was too, but I had gotten my tasks done that I was supposed to do, that I said I was going to do. My tasks were done and completed before I sat down and just sat on my phone. You know. it's all fun to sit around and, you know, just not do anything. Like, it's fine. So, like I said, so as long as you're doing your shit. So I come in the next day, and the day shift guys, who, cool dudes, I get along well with them. They're great dudes, like, you know, they're a little passive-aggressive about things, but they don't mean any harm. They just kind of are curious, like, hey, what happened last night? Totally understand it. I come in like, hey, what happened with the jet trucks last night? Like, what do you mean what happened with the jet trucks last night? Well, they weren't closed out last night. You know, what were you guys doing? Like, well, you should ask this coworker that question. You know, I'm not gonna point him out by name. You know, what exactly happened? Because, you know, he was on his phone all night. I don't take very well to people who are lazy. You know, I can be lazy myself, but when shit needs to be done at your job that you are paid to do, you are to get them done. You are to go do them, and, you know, whatever. But it just frustrates me when somebody says, hey, I'm going to do this task. They sit on their phone all night, like they had been for the entire shift, and then that task never gets done. And it's like, I sat there knowing fully well that that task was not completed. I never said anything. You know, I never said anything. I most certainly could have gone and done it, but I didn't. Because, you know, I didn't say I was going to do it. That wasn't me. That was somebody else. I have been told that, you know, I had done nothing wrong. Obviously, because I'm not the one that said they were going to do it. You know, I did my tasks. They can clearly see I did my tasks. They know I did my task because I filled out the sheet, and they can also verify in the morning that that task was indeed done. Like, it was completed. So they know that I did my stuff that I said I was going to do. So I'm okay. But like I said, it frustrates me when this stuff doesn't get done, because we have all day to do it. We have all day to sit there and get this done. You know, we don't have a lot going on, so it just kind of looks really horrible when the day shift guys show up and the day shift supervisor shows up. And he sees eventually that this stuff wasn't done, and there wasn't a lot that went on yesterday. So it's like, it's gonna get to a point where, you know, they're gonna have to have someone babysit us, and, you know, we won't be able to sit on our phones even after we completed all our tasks that we were supposed to do on a slow night, because it's gonna get ruined. It probably won't get to that particularly, because, you know, it's nice to be able to just sit down after everything's all done and just kind of hang out until it's time to go home. You know, if there's no more tasks to be done. And if there's anything else that does need to be done that we don't know about, then we get them done, like sweeping the hangars or cleaning the floors and stuff like that. That's absolutely fine. Because again, it's stuff that, you know, should be done. There's work to do, there's work to do. We're here to work, we're not here to relax. But it is a luxury to be able to sit there, and that is something that we do enjoy. But if we continue to, you know, have people who are going to abuse those privileges, then we're going to lose those privileges, and that's where it's going to start pissing people like me off. You know, someone who does their work, you know, Matt does their work, Ken does his work, Jamie does his work, other people do their work. So to have people sit there and ruin this luxury for us that we have would be kind of annoying. It would be a little more than annoying, it would be downright shitty that we have to pay for somebody else's bullshit. So, you know, it's been a little frustrating, but, you know, nothing's really come out of it yet. Like, you know, tonight, this was also something that came up a couple weeks ago. You know, my first weekend alone, it seemed like, you know, and I've seen it before, I'm the new guy, and I was the only one that did anything that entire night, on Saturday. It was my Friday. You know, I did pretty much everything on the sheet, and it was asked, you know, hey, what happened here? And I told them, like, you know, this guy and this guy sat on their asses all night on their phones and didn't do a damn thing. Like, the weather was getting shitty. Like, I'm running around trying to get the stuff done before the storm blows in, and they're just sitting inside. And eventually, they just, you know, there wasn't much left to be done. It was asked of me to do this task, and I said no. And that was also the other half of the question was, you know, it was brought to their attention that I had refused to perform a task. Because my coworker, who seems to think that he's the supervisor on the shift, even though he was passed over for supervisor, you know, he went for the interview and didn't get it, but he will commonly say he's the supervisor, the makeshift supervisor when all the other supervisors go home, which gets kind of annoying because, well, I don't like being told what to do by someone who's an equal. But, you know, point being, you know, he had come over while I was shutting off the lights to the FBO, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do parking tickets and pass downs?" And this is before I had really learned how to do parking tickets and that stuff, and I looked at him and said no. He's like, "Well, why not?" I'm like, because I've done everything else. Like, and I rattled off all the stuff I did to him. I'm like, I've done everything else, and I go home in like 15 minutes. Like, I don't really want to do the pass downs and the parking tickets. Like, I've already done the fuel trucks, I've done the crew cars, I've helped clear and prepare the ramp for the day. I stocked the ice. I went and picked up all the chocks. You know, I went and picked up the cones. I made sure everything was secure. Like, you know, I also went and got you guys pizza tonight on my time. You know, so like, no, I don't really want to do pass downs and parking tickets because then I will have done pretty much everything tonight, and that's not going to fly with me. Like if that's the case, then like we're gonna have to sit down and all have a discussion because I'm gonna get fairly pissed off about that fact. Like, I'm not here to do everyone's work. I'm here to do my work and my fair share of it. I will go above and beyond, but if it's expected of me to do all the work, then that's where the buck stops. Like, the buck will stop here. So, I guess I'll be heading to bed soon. But we'll say it's the only upside to pushing the clocks back, because at least, like, you know, when stuff is normally occurring, I'll be up a little earlier. Well, earlier by an hour in comparison to the day before. FUDR. Nope. I guess that's what it is. But yeah, so it had pissed me off, something fierce. You know, and my managers did take notice, and I appreciated that. And I expressed to them, like, hey, these are my fears, these are my concerns. You know, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to have to sit here week in and week out, you know, with these guys who've been here a while. Like, I'm already finding out that they are rather lazy. I just don't want it to be assumed that I'm the new hire and I'm going to be doing all the tasks on the night shift. Like, that's just not going to fly with me. It so far hasn't been an issue, but it seems like it's something each week that's popping up. Something little, but something that is rather annoying. So, be curious to see, you know, how things progress, and you know, going forward, you know, how you know, certain things get handled with my coworkers and such, because, you know, like I said, I enjoy my coworkers. I do like where I'm at now. I am enjoying myself, but there are excuse me. There are some small things like I have been noticing, but particularly that, you know, just to name something that I just, you know, I do worry about and that I don't want to have happen because, again, I don't want to be taken advantage of. But hopefully things will push in the right direction like they have been, and those issues shouldn't hopefully pop up again. But like I said, it always makes me laugh when... Let's find the name of this song. Kind of like this, the ambience of it, just nice to build to. Even when I'm not streaming, I will throw on this kind of music and whatnot. It's easy to get lost into. And some days, like, you know, the music, especially when building the Kaldvann, just kind of help me. It does kind of help me build. It does kind of help me push along and find things to construct and things to build. So it is actually kind of nice. It's a nice little ambience to what I'm doing. Go for it. Oh, it's Toby. Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, hello. What are you doing? Oh, hello. Oh, it's a mandated Toby pet break. Mandated by the Toby. Oh, hello. Yeah? Oh. Yeah, come here. Oh, no, you're a lab cat now. No, you're a lab cat. You're a lab cat. Yep. You're a lab cat now. Yes, you are. You are a lab cat. You will enjoy this. You are enjoying this. Continue to enjoy this. Oh. Stretch your neck. That's something of which you enjoy. Oh. Alright, go be a cat. But anyways. No, Toby, no. Oh, Toby. You're being a cat. Thought I'd let you know. Alright. I forget how to spell the German word for fire station. Ah! F-E-U-E-R. So I was incorrect. What your word should I put in? Oh, it's a Toby. You're a cat. Kinda used that already before. Maybe I should just go with that fire station. Yeah, I kinda like this one. It's old. Tobias Floyd. I think I spelled that wrong. Hold on. Yes, Toby. Ah. It's actually... So I was thinking of the... Say, I was thinking of the German spelling of town hall, which is Rathaus. This is Rathaus. The fire station could probably go... Actually, Yep, there it is. Ooh. Ooh. I think this needs to go in Trondheim. Holy hell, that's a nice fire station. To Trondheim. That's a nice fire. Toby. No. Stop being a cat. Keep being a cat. I know, conflicting messages. Let's see. Should be right here. No, stop this bullkittery. No. So, I want this building. And I want it to go in an older block. So I'm actually going to put it kind of more towards the ballpark. Yeah, we could probably go right here on this corner. Enjoy jazz. You like jazz? That's a really nice fire station. Wow. That is beautiful. I can definitely see this being a city's central station. Like, I know it's not central per se, but this is the older area of Trondheim. And I could put a smaller station elsewhere, which actually, I think, I were to look. So, technically the central station is here, which is rather small. I mean, it could house a lot of trucks. Like, I easily could be 2 trucks per bay. 5 bays, so 10 trucks, which isn't bad. But I think we have a station over here, which I need to redo this area. This station probably won't persist. Oh, this is probably like 1 truck per bay. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 trucks, so it's roughly the same size if you think about it. This station, however, is definitely 1 truck per bay. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's actually a downgrade. It's about 8 trucks per, which isn't bad. Could still easily be a central station. I've always kind of wanted to move the station and maybe like put some more buildings in here and kind of wrap them around this way a little bit, kind of make like a little plaza around the Allegiant Lines Tower. So I might end up moving this station more towards... crap. That freaking hurts. This station might actually end up moving maybe toward this block or so. So actually, I think we're going to do that right now. So this might actually still end up being the central station. Skate park. stuff that I've never completed. I think before I go back to hammering, I think what I'll probably do is do a little work in here and maybe doing some street layout, like getting this street finally wrapped around and brought down this way. Because this street needs to come this way, make the corner, and then there'll be a street that comes back behind the hospital. It's gonna be kind of like maybe the street comes this way or something. I've never actually quite figured out exactly what I'm doing with this area in particular, right up around the hospital. Because the thing is we have two embassies, which are right here. We have the Commonwealths, the United Kingdom and their Commonwealths right here. We have the United States. It's like the 9th car to like race down my fucking road tonight. Holy shit. Never did actually kind of get this area cleaned up, like there's this kind of maintenance gate here for the rail line. So let's switch these signals out. Anyways, before I get too far ahead of myself, let me focus on the task at hand. Yeah, it's always been weird that I never ever really finished this area. Like I've been, like I was just the area, these areas just, I don't know, I just never really quite got them put together too well. I don't know, it was something weird. Like I kind of started to get a loose layout of this area, but I just had some buildings that I wanted to use, particularly in these areas that I never really quite decided, like, okay, yeah, that's the look I want, like, you know, this is what I want to do. And like, I'd hate to move these buildings because, you know, they've been here for such a while that I'd hate to move them and whatnot. Like, I kind of feel like they're almost kind of permanent at this point. Like, they've been here for such a long time that I just don't feel like moving them is something I want to do. But like, I don't know, I feel like something else could go here. I don't know. Like, hell, even these buildings, like these, actually, I think when it comes to Trondheim, like, these were the first buildings I placed. Like, this building, like, right here were the first buildings that I really plopped down. Like, I look at it now, and, like, this building's not the best. Like, it's really not the best. But, I'm not moving it. At this point, like, I'm just not moving it. But like areas back here, like, you know, I could probably redo this area a little bit. at least do something behind, like put in parking or something, or this could be a parking area. This could be trees with like this could be a park itself behind the buildings. There could be pathways back here and trees and like a fountain or something. Actually, that doesn't just sound like a bad idea. Putting in trees and a pathway back here behind the buildings, just up against the train station. Yeah, I might do that actually. That actually sounds like a good idea. Then you have these cluster of buildings over here, and I don't know, just again, I feel like it's too late to change these buildings, but I feel like something different could be done, or they could be changed in some way, or they could be moved around, or something. Like, I feel like these two buildings here could go, or maybe this one in particular. This one maybe could stay. I don't know. But in replacement, these two buildings could come over here. But then that kind of leaves this area a little open. I don't know. There's a lot that can be done. How long have we been going? An hour and 43. I'll tell you what. I need to take a quick bathroom break. Get some soda real quick, or just something to wet the whistle. I will just leave you guys real quick. So I can go do that. I'll change the weather back to kind of a little shitty.
Jo, solen den vel det rundeste jul, hvorunder der spiller så mange fejskjul. Til held fører vejen den brede, som menneskene vandrer af med glæde. Men hvad mon mørkere end natten den grå? Hey, hvad mon mørkere end
so there's that. You can have a snowy morning view. And I will be right back. So take a quick bathroom break.
Sig mig, hvad vel den bredeste bro? Hey, sig mig, hvad vel den bredeste bro? For under småfiskene kan tumle sig i ro. Hvad dækker jorden med sit klæde? Og hvor finder død man sit sæde? Isen, den vel den bredeste bro. Hvor under småfiskene kan tumle sig i ro. Sneen dækker jorden med sit klæde. I graven finder døde man sit sæde. Og hør du, Svend Nordmand, hvad jeg nu siger dig? 9 spørgsmål har du nu, her besvar mig. Og ikke skal du døden modtage, men det skal gå dig vel i dine dage.
sorry about that. Actually looking at the time, looking at things that I have to do tomorrow, I'm probably actually going to wrap it up here for now. So, sorry to abruptly end it on y'all, but do have a couple of things to attend to tomorrow, then I gotta work Monday, and Tuesday's gonna be busy. I'll try to probably stream later on Tuesday, just when I get home. Then the following week's also gonna be busy because I got a birthday to deal with. So, anyways, guys, again, sorry for a short stream and to cut it off so quick. Hope you all did enjoy this short little one. Hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble along. If I could not choke there while talking. If you enjoyed what you see here, do consider giving this video a like. Consider subscribing if you want to tune in for some more live streams. And if not, well, all right then. If you guys like it, do all those things. If you don't, oh well. It doesn't bother me. I just enjoy coming out, uploading these streams for y'all to maybe watch if you so wish to, garnering a few views here and there. So, I hope you all take care and have a lovely evening, and talk to you then. See you.
Restande vågar, brännande lager, ginande ulv, gallant i grogg, ljugande fler, eller brodersfält, värmar slåtre, affärs och tror i val, broderbanne sinne, Fallande bordi, bruda pesmolo,